Good morning, Sanbonani. Good morning, my name is Koketjo Munonde. I am a trainee career guidance practitioner, and we thank you for honoring our invitation and joining us for the time management workshop. I am going to be your program director for the day. I hope you are all well, and thank you again for joining us. Before we get started with the program, I would like to just have us observe a few house rules. I would like to ask that everybody please keep their mics closed as well as their videos during the presentation. And during the question and answer session, please make use of the raising hands function here on Microsoft Teams, or alternatively, you can add your questions in the chat box and we will answer from there. To officially open the program for today, allow me to welcome a pioneer in her own space, the head of the Counselling Unit Gauteng region, who is Dr. Pitswani. Dr. Pitswani, please come in and welcome our guests. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Ketso, for welcoming me into this virtual space, a space that has actually touched each and every one of us. We are no longer meeting face to face, but we are on the virtual space. Thank you for welcoming everybody also and making sure that we all feel safe. Our beloved student, our dear student, good morning. A special welcome to you for actually putting this time aside to attend our workshop, time management, of course. Secondly, let me also welcome my colleagues. You are very special. You take a life of our students seriously to heart. You are here today to share your expert knowledge with our students, and that is very heartening, that is very fulfilling, that is empathetic in nature because of the program that you are following, because of your courses as psychologists, as counselors. You have got the empathy and the passion, of course, to ensure that our students are following the right path. Remember quite well, UNISA Counselling Unit, it takes pride in itself by ensuring that your journey as a student is easier as you navigate the space of learning in this open distance and e-learning university. We understand that most of you might be entering the space of higher learning for the first time. So it is our duty to ensure that we make your life easier so that you are able to adjust in this space better by making sure that we take you by the hand, but we can't take you by the hand alone if you are not willing. You need to be a willing horse, of course. One may ask, how are we going to do that? How are we going to assist you to navigate the space of higher learning? The example is that the workshops that we are having today, and of course we have a series of workshops that are still to come, but the one basically that we are having here, it's very, very important for you to be able to manage your time. It will guide and empower you on how to plan your study timetable, how to manage your time, and how to complete your assignments on time and ensure that when exam time comes, you have submitted all your assignments and you have met the requirements to sit for the exams. This is a space that is different from where you are coming from if you are a first-time student, because you used to sit in classes and listen to your teachers teaching you and expecting you to submit assignments or rather classworks and tests at a specific time. Here, nobody will follow you around. Nobody will remind you. So if you manage your time and do things right, then you will be able to survive in this space. So it means that we need self-regulated students, self-motivated students to be able to ultimately reach their goals and pass at the end of each semester. And thank you again for loving yourself and for taking yourself seriously. Why I am saying this, it is because you made time to attend this session, and that confirms that you are taking yourself serious and you are taking your studies serious. You don't want to be left at the ledge, left alone without knowing what to do. So thank you, and thank you for being you and for loving yourself. And we are proud, of course, today to be hosting this workshop. And again, I would like to leave you with a quote from Jim Rohn, who says, I quote, "Either you run the day or the day runs you." Basically, what does this mean? It means that if you don't plan your day, the day will end up running you, and you will end up having achieved nothing, which is what we are going to try and do. Not try, actually. We are going to ensure that we unpack this workshop for you, and so that when you start this year 2022, you know exactly what you are going to do, and you will ensure that your dreams are realized. Thank you again for attending, and thank you the organizers for inviting our students and making sure that they are attending. Thank you. Program Director, I thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Pizzani, for the warm welcome. I hope the attendees feel as warm of your welcome as I do, knowing that there are people who are here to aid them in their academics and all the other things that they may need assistance with regards to the university. Without holding our program any further, I would like to invite our next speaker, who is an expert in his own right, a student counselor from the Ekurhuleni Center. And he will be doing the presentation of the time management workshop. I would just like to ask that please absorb as much as you can, because we are here to aid you, and also do engage with us when he asks for during the question answer session. Do raise your hands using the Teams function, and also just to reiterate, please make sure that your mics are turned off at all times during the presentation unless you are asked to ask your question. Mr. Makahani, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Hey, you put me on the I don't know, an expert. Hey, you know, a student will start thinking, yo, this is going to be a big session. Of course, yes, it's going to be a big session. And thank you for the introduction. And thank you for Dr. P to set the scene for me and alleviate anxiety and stress to the students, and reduce it to the minimum level where they will be able to understand, perhaps, and even to take in what we are going to help them. Yeah, guys, we are going to do time management today. My name is Patwani Makahani, student counselor in UNISA Ekurhuleni, as I've already been introduced. So my colleagues with me will be working. We worked very hard to make this day a big day, because there was a lot of work in the background from people who am not going to mention the names here, to make this presentation possible, including those who are working behind the scene to do the slides, bringing to me for me to check, and sending to my manager to check as well. So having said that, I just want us to take a deep breath and think there are only two things in life that need budget, right? Either we talk about money budget. Secondly, it's time. We need to budget time. Without budgeting time, you cannot be able to make money, right? Money can only be made if we can be able to budget time. So therefore, in order for us to be able to make money, wherein we can budget money, we need to budget time. That's why we talk about time management, managing time, because a lot of people fail in their business, either based on one of the two things, the biggest one being failure to adhere to time, and checking, even listening to the grasshopper jumping. Why? Because it's important. Time is important to everyone. This is the only commodity that we have in life equally. I want you to write that down. I hope you have got pen and papers, because today you're going to learn. As a teacher and as a lecturer and as a counselor, I like people to write down things so that they will have something to do as a referral. Like I've said, time management is not about just a word of time management. If you fail to manage time, you fail to manage yourself. This is come now to the issue of self-management, because time management means self-management. There is no excuse about time management. Why am I saying this? Some students will talk about, hey, there was load shedding, hey, though they knew in advance that they were given a schedule for load shedding, and they did not prepare, because preparation, it involves time. Therefore, load shedding did not take them by surprise. They were aware, but they did not give themselves time to be able to go to somewhere to do about time. Let me show you why the people keep on saying time management is a the thing. You either say I'm running out of time or I'm running behind time, which means time is there. Like I've said, it's a commodity which is given to everyone equally. That is the only thing that you cannot blame anyone for it. Why? Because we have got 365 days, 24/7 hours. So therefore, each one has got that. It's about how you utilize your hours. That shows you are different to other people. I repeat, only the way you utilize your hours is the only thing which makes you to be distinctive to other individuals, because time management is life. From today, you will start to learn about why time is so precious. I don't have time. I'm too late. Late for what? For time. Not late for appointment. Because appointment, you cannot be late to it. You only become late because you wake up late and you ignore time. That is why even in our phones, we use them to help us, to wake us up so that we can use it. Although we have got a biological clock that reminds us of something. You can give me the first slide. I think you know, okay, yeah. We're talking about time management, understanding your time personality, because that is very important for you to know which area or what time are you best at, and what is your weakest point or your lowest point. Benefits of time management. What will it benefit you to have time management? How do I manage time? Components of time management, which include planning, organization, delegating, types of interruptions, attitude, and control. Individual differences in time management. There should always be a complement there, because if you are working with somebody who is a morning person and you are an afternoon person, I will explain that what does it supposed to mean. Common time wasters. What are those things that waste time, like procrastination, because those are the biggest time wasters. Over planning and tips of various time management styles. And then lastly, it will be an announcement. So now we are going to look at the definition of time management. I think every one of you might have heard about time management, but it looks like it's an easier thing to do. But at most people fail to understand this because they do not understand exactly what does time management mean. If I can ask you individually, we will find a lot of information from you which sometimes differ, sometimes complement each other about time management. So now this definition of time management will help you to understand what time management is all about. Time management is arranging, which is putting together, organizing, scheduling, and budgeting one's time. The word budget comes in again, like I've said when I started the presentation. So for the purpose of generating more effective work and productivity, it is looking at the time that you have and deciding on what you are going to do with that time, which means that although you have got time, right, you look at the 8-hour day that you use sometimes when you are studying. So you then look at it and say to yourself, I want to use from 8 to 9 to do 1 to 3, 9 to 10 to do 1 to 3. So every day when you finish your day, you are going to go back and look if you have done what you plan to do. That's why most people in the beginning of a new year, I love it because they always make a New Year's resolutions. And they wonder whether they visit them and check if they've done them. If you haven't done them, there's a problem. and you need to go back and look what makes you to lose doing them. So it involves exercising consciousness control over the amount of time spent on specific activities. Don't become fooled by easy or interesting activities. That takes you from doing even the hard one. Then you focus on the easy one every time. So you need to budget time accordingly, because you will end up achieving simpler things, then the harder one are not accomplished. Then that will make you to be a loser again. Where do I come in and what do I say there? It looks like, let's say for instance, we are doing accounting, economics, psychology, and biology. I don't know which one, even if they don't go together. So then you focus on the one that is easy, maybe business management, whichever way. Then you don't give time for financial accounting, which need much practice, and economics. Therefore, at the end of the day, you're gonna pass business management with 100%, but you get 0 in financial accounting and economics. Therefore, you haven't done anything. So brother, you balance. Even if you pass with 60% all of them, at least you have done enough for you to pass. Unlike passing one with 90%, the other one you get a up, another one you got to fail because you fail to manage your time. That starts from there. Look at the understanding time personality. I think you have heard, those who are doing psychology, they have heard about personality type and so on. So now we are talking about time personality, and time personality can be defined as a time or a state in which you are most productive. Underline the word productive. Don't underline my computer. Underline or write it down. It is important to know yourself and adjust the tasks that need you to do accordingly, which means that if you are an afternoon person like me, I'm very grumpy in the morning. I just have to be fairly honest with you. So I remember the time when I used to work with my manager. We complement each other because she's a morning person. She can reach an office at 5 or 6 o'clock when I'm sleeping. Then she knows that in the afternoon she's no longer active. So we have to complement each other. We need to work with our strength, right? We look at each other's strength, and then we cover each other's strength. So that is what you are talking about when you talk about time personality. It's about you taking time and checking what is the most productive time for you in your life. If it's a morning, utilize the morning. If it's the evening, utilize the evening. If it's during the day, utilize during the day. So that is how we are structured, you understand? So we cannot fight with our personality. That's how we are, because if we start to do that, we're going to frustrate ourselves, and we had to have problems with regards to how we do things. Are you time conscious or relaxed? I'm time of the person who is very relaxed, so that's why I know my time, and I'm an afternoon person. I can work until evening. That's how I am. So if you're a morning person, you can wake up at 2 or 3 and do something. I'm not that type. So everyone has got their own time personality. Understanding your time personality will help you in terms of identifying your most productive and choose the most tasks during that time, as you are more likely to accomplish it more because you are still alert at that time and you are at your peak. That is what we talk about time personality. There are things that you need to keep in mind. Being busy and productive is not the same. You can be busy but not being productive. Yesterday, when I was in a staff meeting, I was given a task to talk about absenteeism and presenteeism, right? I'm not going to discuss it here, but because I've seen this busy and productive, it just link it back to that kind of aspect that we're talking about, because sometimes somebody can be at work or doing tasks that are not related to their job. They are being busy, they're very busy, but not with things that can make them to be productive. I just want you to understand that. Productive, you can be productive even if you are doing the smallest thing. Why? Because those are the things that you're supposed to accomplish but that particular day. That is productivity. But being busy, you can do a lot of things in the whole day, but there's none of them which are related to your work of what you are supposed to be doing. If you are occupied during these things that do not contribute to your goals. So this means that you are wasting your time. That is one of the time wasters, because you are so busy, but not with things which are related to what you are supposed to be doing. So you are only going to look at what are you occupied with? Is this task that I'm doing contribute to what I'm supposed to achieve my goal? If they are not, they are time wasters. If they are, then you are productive. Those are the kind of aspects that you need to realize when we talk about time management. Time management as well helps you to become more productive, achieve maximum results with available time, which means that you are not going to waste much time doing things that are not going to get you anywhere. The principle is If you don't know where you are going, every road leads you nowhere. You can run too fast. You can have a fastest car on earth, Bugatti. You want to go to Johannesburg, but you take the highway which goes to Zimbabwe. Even if you are driving 400 and something, the person who's driving I-10 or TES will reach Johannesburg first because when you're taking the wrong direction. So that is when we're talking about, if you are not managing your time, you fail to manage yourself, because time management is you, it's about you. So time management is life, time management is our personality, time management is you. Right. What are the benefits of the time management in an individual level and in the organizational level? Time management in the organizational level, it improves productivity, which means that there will be an increase in the items that you are producing in the organization because you have managed your time. Performance in terms of time deliverables. So what I'm saying is that you won't even fight with anyone if you have managed your time, because once your time is managed, you try to manage yourself. In the individual level, better work-life balance, so you will have less stress in your life. People who are more stressed and who don't even want to go to work because they're always sick. Either they're stressed by the work itself, or they fail to manage their time, or they're fighting with their bosses, fighting with the supervisors. This is because it's as a result of failure to manage your time, because time management, it's a life in itself. What are the other benefits? It helps you achieve your goals faster, which means that you will overtake others in achieving your goals. Proper time management makes you more effective. Instead of getting caught up in multitasking, doing a lot of things, and then there's none which is accomplished. You focus on one activity at a time for a specific duration. That makes you, there are people who started a lot of projects, none of them they're finished. They even die before they finish their projects, because they started a lot of 10 projects at a go. Instead of focusing at 1, you finish it. 2, you finish it. 3, you finish it. Then you can be able to accomplish all your projects in a given time. It helps you to prioritize your work. So therefore, you will be knowing what kind of work should I be doing. When creating a timetable, you prioritize. There are things which are urgent, and there are things which are priority, which need to be done now. So there are important things and urgent things. So you can draw a triangle, then you put important things and urgent things, then you will start to realize which one need you to do now, which one are important to your life. You get more done in less time, so which means that you won't waste any time, because more work will be done without wasting much time. You will be having a proper schedule, allows you to allocate enough time for each task to hit your deadlines in time. So if you start to be reminded every month about something that you were supposed to have done, you must know that you have failed to manage time, because each item should have its own time, or the other items are eating the time for the thing that you are supposed to be doing, and you are no longer doing it. Therefore, that alone combined together, they help you to reduce stress, because you know exactly what you need to do and how much time you have to complete each task. This decreases your anxiety and overall stress, because you have enough time to get everything done. So as I have already alluded before, that stress and anxiety can be reduced if you manage your time effectively. There are managing time, but they're not managing it effectively. But the moment you start managing time effectively, I'm telling you, you will have a simple life, and you will take each day as a hobby, because the more you have time in your hand, you have got more time to do a lot of things. It also prevents procrastinations, which means that this one of the time wasters can be avoided. Setting aside a specific time for a task gives you motivation. This is very important, because you will end up refusing to just do tasks which are imposed to you when you have already allocated time for things. Then you will be an assertive person, because to say no to some of the aspect is a matter of trying to get a time out to be able to do things that you have budgeted for that particular time. How do I manage my time? I want you to look on the slide there, every one of you. Let's look at it very slowly. I'm giving you a minute to look at it. The first one, beware of your time. Are you? The second one, beware of your time wasters. Are you aware of things that waste your time? What's up? Facebook, Instagram. What's the benefit of taking yourself? What is this? They call it reels or what? Of taking yourself TikTok videos and so on, while you have got an assignment to do, which are things that can affect your future. Because this Instagram and what people that you watch there and so on, the celebrities, they're getting paid for you to watch them. You see somebody looking for how many likes, maybe 1 million likes and so on. What do you get from liking them? You like somebody whom you don't even know. What do you get from that? Those are time wasters. Self-management. I told you that self-management is time management. If you manage yourself, you've managed to manage time. Management of your personal resources. What are the resources which are available that you can manage, that you can use to manage your time? One time I put in my WhatsApp status a picture. I won't mention what kind of picture was it. And I say, make sure that before you start any engagement or business, you must check if all the resources are available so that you mustn't stuck along the way. Then we also have goal setting and measuring achievement. You must have a short-term and long-term goals. There's no way wherein you can plan about time and then at the end of the year you've got nothing that you have achieved. Then the other thing is about planning. What have you put in place as part of the planning? Right, if you say the project must be finished on Friday, let by Friday the project is finished, it has already been sent to the right person. Create time management goals. Use time wisely. Time management apps and programs. So sometimes you need to have some notes in your fridge. If you always visit the fridge to look for water, then it will always remind you. If you always wanted to go to the mirror in the bathroom, then you put it on the mirror there, that every time when you're looking at the mirror, you're looking at yourself. That will be a reminder that this is the thing that I need to do. These are the things that I have to do when and when. Set time limits for tasks. No task can be done forever. Keep everything organized. Right? With that one, the organizing part, very terrible. Because some people, they've got a lot of things. That's why they even forgot what they were supposed to be doing. And then that are the things that can lead them to stress and anxiety. And then when it reaches anxiety, then they might have a problem. Then they will have to consult us as counselors and psychologists to help them to deal with such. I hope everyone now will start to understand what time management is all about, how do we manage time and when do we manage time, and what are the value and the benefits of managing time, because if you fail to manage time, you have failed to manage yourself, which means you are a disorganized person. So in order for you to avoid to be a disorganized person, because time management is self-management. When it comes to planning, like I've mentioned before, failing to plan is planning to fail. Failing to plan, underline that or write it down. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Just hear that. Failing to plan is planning to fail. There are people who are masters of wrong information. So if you are a master of wrong information, you are going to teach people wrong information. They will become masters as well and experts of wrong information. So a plan is a roadmap set in a real time to reach an objective. If you use the wrong road to go somewhere, like the example that I gave you, you end up in the wrong direction, because that is an issue of poor, not proper planning. To begin the planning process, you need to identify your goals, and the goals can be SMART goals, which are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Strategic goals, long-term goals that require more than 3 years to complete, like a degree, doing a degree. You cannot say I'm planning in a year to finish my degree. That's not possible. That becomes a strategic goals and is time bound. Tactical goals, medium-term goals that require 3 to 12 months to complete, which means that first semester, how many modules you want to pass, second semester, how many modules to pass, then you've got a 12 months period, you have completed them, which are helping you to complete the strategic goals. Operational goals are short-term goals, defining exact action to be taken. That is the issue of when I'm going to register, which institution I'm going to register, what are the studying method of that institution, where I'm going to get financial aid for my studies. Those are operational goals, operational management. That's in the operate, because they're looking at the sources that are available to reach your goal. The urgent important metrics, if you look on the quadrant on the right hand side, it's got, I've already spoken about it when we were behind there, when I talk about urgent issues, important issues, and not important issues. For effective planning, you need to understand the difference between urgent and important, right? Urgent task demands immediate attention. That is urgent, understand? So sometimes we call them critical because they need to be done now. Critical means near death, so you cannot do without them now. It does not automatically becomes important as it may not directly impact on a goal. Sometimes it has got nothing, completely nothing with your things. Like for example, maybe I've got important task to do now, which is a monthly report, and then my manager says, you know what, stop that for now. There's a crisis in Davidton Mall. They need a counselor to cool people down now. There's been a robbery or whatever the reason might be. That is urgent. It has got nothing connected to what I'm supposed to be doing. But I need to stop what I'm doing now, which is important. I will come back to the important things after I've solved the urgent matter, because an urgent matter is a matter of life and death. Important tasks are those that are directly important to a to make sure that my things are done and are done in time. The urgent important metrics help you to get over habit of focusing on your urgent activities. Irrespective of whether they are important or not, it helps you keep enough time for what is important. If you look on the quadrant, you will see that urgent, important, not urgent, not important. Quadrant manage crisis, deadline driven projects. Quadrant leadership and equality, prevention of crisis planning. So in order for you to avoid the things to become urgent, if they are related to task, you don't leave matters unattended, right? Not important, that on the quadrant 3, you find deception, some meetings, calls, interruptions, meeting that you did not plan for and you were not invited, but they appear, they pop up, you end up joining the meeting and it delays your time. Those become quadrant 4, which is time wasters, and busy and not productive work time. Those are time wasters. And the procrastination, because you wanted to do something which are not related to your work, which will end up wasting your time more. How have you been managing your time effectively? I want to say that there is no one who is useless when it comes to time. I'm saying this because if you have been reaching this far in the studies, obviously what you were doing was working. What we are doing here is not changing what you are doing. We are trying to add on what you were doing or to help you to see the alternative of what you were doing, because sometimes some of the things were done as a matter of luck. So we don't want you to work as a matter of luck at this stage in time. We want you to change the way of doing things so that everything that you do from today onwards is going to be done accordingly to planning and time management, because managing time is self-management, and self-management is about managing the resources around you and managing yourself in a long run or in a short run. Let's look at the long-term planning. Basic objective of long-term planning is to gain an overview of the academic activities over the whole year and to make sure that you keep track of all important dates, such as submitting assignment, preparing for group discussion, preparing for examination, writing examination, ensuring that you meet all the commitments on time. What does it mean? It means that you will avoid the situation whereby you will have crisis, you will have urgent matters which are related to the work that you are supposed to be doing. That alone, it may affect the way you do things. So it's very important for you to understand that if you have to manage a long-term goals or you do the long-term planning, all these activities will be easier to manage, because if you see, even when the assignment due date is still far and you do your due date now, it will help you to have much time for the preparation for exam. Then, which means that writing exam won't even bring you anxiety and stress. Why? Because you were already planned for that activities on time. So that is very important for you to note, because if that is done, you will not have a problem in the long run. Because long-term planning, it affects the short-term goal, and it affects again the medium-term planning. So therefore, both of them, they cannot be achieved if one is not done properly. Why long-term planning? Long-term planning helps you because you have planned things ahead on time. You can regularly check your progress. This could help you to motivate you, because when you see some assignment you got 80%, 90%, that's the motivation when you solve. That means you feel like, you know what, even if I can get 15 in the exam, I'll then ask for remarking. But if you're not sure, you cannot even ask for remarking because you are scared. Then the result will come back saying you are failed. Why? Because you did not prepare. You know that you will not forget important dates. So which means that you have got all the dates laid down. You have got some reminders. You put them in a place where you can keep yourself glued to understand when am I supposed to do what when. Because that alone, if you have a long-term planning, then the medium one help you to reach that. The short-term one help you to reach the medium one. And as a matter of fact, all of them lead to the one another. And then at the end of the day, you'll always be a happy individual because all your things are not running behind time. They are running on time, not behind time. On time, write that down. You don't allow things to run behind time because they will always chase time. But if they are on time, they are adjacent with time. So there's no one which is ahead of each other and there's no one which is behind each other. Another. So therefore, they are always adjacent to each other. How should you plan your weekly study schedule? Sometimes you need to make a timetable. Say, for instance, you are going to study you are doing 5 modules, but in a week you only want to do 3. This week you're going to use Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday for revision. Then it's going to say Monday I'm going to do business. I'm going to do economics. On Wednesday, I cannot do accounting because my brain will still be fried by economics on Monday. I would rather do a reliever module, which is industrial psychology or business management. Then it helps you to cool down. After you cool down, you go back to accounting. Right, then on Saturday, you are going to do revision for economics and business management or economics and industrial psychology. That's how you plan your time. Every time when you make your schedule, you must make sure that there's always a reliever module. The module which is not too much intense, that will help you to relieve and cool you down so that you will be able to focus on your study and your plan won't go hayward. Because some of the discouragement, it comes as a result of poor planning or poor schedule or poor management of subjects that you are doing. That alone, it will affect the way in which things turn out. Because if you plan them and you have a calendar that is not realistic, then it will affect the way in which things comes out. And that alone, it can discourage you or give you positive energy, which can make you to carry over. As I have mentioned, the issue of long term, now we are going to short term, which are the goals that can help you to reach the long term or the medium term. Short term planning is something you do weekly or daily. To do this, you work out how much time you have at your disposal. Like I've said, you've got 8-hour day. So everyone, you have got 24 hours after the 8 hour that you use as a working day. 24 hours for everyone. So each individual have that. So then you're going to plan your things around that 24 hours. There is not only 5 hours, somebody given 26 hours. Each one is given 24-hour day. So therefore, you plan around that time. You cannot go beyond time and you cannot go beyond before time. So therefore, you must be on time. So you need to draft a master schedule which you can use as a basis for weekly and daily planning, as I've mentioned. So that one will work as your reminder in a daily time. Every activity based on that will help you to reach that short-term planning, because time management begins with hours of the day, minutes of the day that you have at your disposal. Short-term planning is when something you do weekly and daily. To do this, you should work out how much time you have at your disposal. You need to draft a master schedule. Daily planning helps to identify some definite objective to pursue. Take a few minutes to plan what you will be doing today. Write down what you will do next to the appropriate, because if you don't write down anything, any plan, it's more likely to derail because you might have left out the very important information. To avoid that, you make sure that you write down a plan, so that's why even a building plan, they write it down. Why? Because if they go wrong, they go back to the drawing board. Okay, the plan says in this corner there is an electric things and it's not done here, which means something is wrong. It needs to be demolished, this wall, so that we can be able to have that plan. That's why every plan has to be written down. If you are to make sure that even after, you can go back and review and check if everything is done according to the plan. As steps in organizing Prioritize all tasks to figure out which tasks are important, not important, urgent or not urgent. We spoke about that. Next, block out the tasks that need to be completed by the due date. The most important first and moving on to the less important. So you can write them according to the important, next important, until the last, which is not more important than the first one. Highlight all the important milestones and due date. Ensure you give adequate time for your top priorities. I think in my UNISA as well, they also assist you because there's always, when you open my UNISA on the right hand side, there will always be in the specific module, there will always be a calendar which shows you that the due date of this assignment is the 19th. So when you check there and then you ignore that, come the 19th, now on the last day of the 19th at 12 o'clock midnight, when we are moving to the other day, 11:59, before we go to 12 o'clock, because it's close at 12 o'clock. Luckily, some of them, they don't close at 12 o'clock. But that is the time when there's too much traffic for everyone to send the assignment. And it's important for you to send your assignment prior, way before the due date. You won't even struggle because, hey, what if the network crashes on that day? So you have been given enough time long before you knew when the information is supposed to be sent. You want to send it on the last day. That's where the problem starts. Make a list of activities you would like to complete. Score all the activities from 0 to impact to 5 for maximum impact. Score all the activities based on the required effort from 0 to no effect to 5 for maximum effort. Use the matrix to decide to either complete the activity or drop the activity based on the matrix. So if it is done, cross it out. If it still has to be done, you're gonna write done. If it's done completely, it's no longer important or it's no longer supposed to be done, scratch it out. Then that matrix will help you to see which activities are still left to be done, which one need to be done. So then based on that, it will become easier for you to do this. Then that will also become a part and parcel, or it will become your second nature to be able to have something to do with time management. There's an issue of delegating. Guys, I want you to realize this. Perhaps in your work environment, apart from school life and so on, some people think delegation removes the responsibility from the accounting officer. That's not true. If my manager gave me something, delegate something to me, it does not take her out of the picture. She still needs to supervise me if I'm doing the things the way she wants me to do them, because the buck stops with her. It's not my responsibility. I was asked by my manager to do it, but it's a responsibility. That is about delegation. Delegation does not remove the ownership of the thing that they delegated you to do. It just gives you a chance to learn from what you are given. That's why delegating has 3 elements: authority, responsibility, and accountability. R-A-R-A, authority, responsibility, and accountability. That's why I said she's still an accounting officer for what has been done. So it gives me, both of us, responsibility, because on my part I will be learning, because she trusts me that I can do this. Therefore, when it goes back to her, it must be as if it's done by her, because she's going to report to somebody else as well, because that is all about delegating. So she's still an authority figure, because if things doesn't go well, they will fight with her, not me. Then she will then come to me and fight with me. Why didn't you do my work like this? Because I will know that, okay, then which means she got an order from the higher power, because that is how things works in this life. Delegation does not remove you from being the ownership of the work. It just gives you an opportunity to give somebody an opportunity to learn something out of what you are doing. At the same time, you are still an accounting officer. I'm not saying you must delegate somebody to do your assignments. No, you should do your own assignments. You must write your own exams. That's what we're talking about, responsibility, self-regulated learners. Type of interruptions, which are part of the time wasters. Over socializing on the job, unnecessary meetings. There are people who like meetings, you know. And as for me, I get bored easily. My attention span doesn't go beyond 45 minutes. Anything which goes after an hour, oh Lord, unless I'm the one who's talking. But if I'm listening to somebody else, I don't know whether it's selfish or what. I become bored, you know. My attention span is like that. So we also have telephone interruptions, overly long calls, which are not useful. spam calls, which are not useful, which cannot help you anyway. No specific agenda on the meeting. You ask for agenda, no one sends you the agenda. Then they start to have an agenda which is long because in the meeting, anyone comes with any other business, which was not part of the planning. Lack of planning, that also become a problem. Drop-in visitors which are not invited, problems as well. Procrastinating, I will do it tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, you've got another responsibilities. You end up not even doing it. Those are the types of interruptions, which are biggest time wasters, because at the end of the day, there will be nothing which has been done. And as a result, nothing, absolutely nothing has been done. And that affects the way in which things are done. So, revisit and revise your schedule. When you take control of something, you can be able to revisit, revise your schedule. It is important to check whether your plans is working by checking how are you actually using your time. Because if you don't do that, if you don't go back and check if you are using your time sparingly and wisely, you will end up not losing control. This will help you to identify the deviation between your planned and your actual followed schedule. So when you start to deviate and do things which are not on your schedule, then it's going to be easier for you to identify them. You then need to alter your schedule and revise your plan for better time management. So if need be, you need to alter. Some of the things need to shift their places and then others take their places. Why? Because you wanted to make sure that your schedule is not behind, you are still on time every time. Important, nothing is fixed on your plan. That's why we want it to be flexible. It's like qualitative research. It's a flexible methodology. It's emergent design. So which means that every time things can come up and then you shift around things to put them somewhere where they belong. Why? You reprioritize if you get stuck, because it's important, right? Attitude, you need a positive attitude to help you stay focused. You cannot do anything if you've got negative attitude or if you are demoralized. You first need to tune yourself to be positive, to be motivated, so that you can be able to manage your time effectively and successfully by completing tasks. Positive attitude goes a long way. Okay, before we continue, I hope you've got papers. Né? Write down this word attitude. Are we writing? Open my mic and tell me, are you writing, please? I still have time, I think, and I will be finishing on time.
Yes.
Because that's what I wanted to do. I must show you that time is important by me demonstrating why time is important. If I finish 30 minutes after time, I have got a poor time management. That's standard. If I finish before time, that means that my time management is very important. I have managed to manage time. So I want to know, are you writing down the word attitude? Don't write it the way it's written there, horizontal. Write it vertical. Oh, this is vertical. Eh? Write it horizontal. Horizontal, vertical angle. Can you see my hands? You write it like this, like this. Like ATTITUDE, attitude. Right, it's going to be part of your homework. Write it down. So each alphabet, you are going to give it a corresponding number. A is 1, right? T, if it's 19 or 20, you're going to write 20. I, if it's 16, like that. E is 5, isn't it? You are going to give it a corresponding number and add those numbers for yourself. They will give you 100. Right? It's not my story. I got it from Dr. Tibane or Tabane. I don't want to lie. It's plagiarism if I take my information as is mine. I have to reference the owner. He taught me something very interesting. Though I'm using it different to people. That's how we call it learning as second place. He wrote down the attitude and he wrote it and you give it the number, it's 100. So your life is about attitude. Bad attitude is also 100%, right? Because we only add bad, but we're talking about attitude. It's either be bad or positive, but positive attitude give you 100. So if you approach life in a negative attitude, you are going to receive everything negative, 100%, because everything that you see is negative. So if you've got positive attitude and you approach life with a positive attitude, everything you receive in life is going to come to you back 100% in a positive way. So life is 100% attitude. There's nothing else which equals to 100. Not even money, not even salary, nothing except attitude. Even motivation doesn't reach 100. But attitude alone in all the things I've come across or all the ways I've come across is the only one which gives you 100%. So your life is about attitude. There are some characteristics that we need to look for positive attitude: enthusiasm, force and enjoyment of daily activities, taking responsibility for your actions and feeling good about success. Generally, cheerful mood and positive emotion, appreciation of others and yourself, motivate to get the job done, flexibility to make changes when needed, ability to make productive and effective use of time. So things such as gratitude as well, it helps you to develop positive attitude because you always constantly help others and giving others, cheer people around, and they will cheer you back because it's a replay effect. Whatever you do to others can come back to you in a big way. Characteristics of negative attitude: often complaining, not taking responsibility for your action, always blaming others. It's Mama, it's not me. It's Dr. P, it's Mekwa, it's not me, it's Humuto. There is no way you can take responsibility, say, this is me. Yes, it was a learning curve. I want to repeat the mistake again. That's when we say learning has taken place. Resisting change and making improvements. Effective use of time. Procrastination. It comes over and over and over again because most people are stuck in the procrastination. That is the part of the negative attitude which can give you not 100% in your, not give you 100% of positive attitude, because that alone, negative attitude, is the opposition of positive attitude. Achievement management, measure success based on how much they take on. Such people cannot say no and often get overwhelmed. They are really achievement orientated. Why? They just get everything into their hands and they don't know how to say no because they're not assertive, and that alone, it affects the way in which they do things. Such people view to be helpful and dependable, but at the end of the day, they themselves, they cannot help themselves because they don't get anything done. Casual management, they are procrastinators. They think they're with the right brain and are often more creative, but on their downside, they tend to miss deadlines because they are casual, Crisis management, every task is a top priority. Some people take to take all the tasks at once since they can't decide what their priorities. They work well under pressure and are able to reach deadlines. Crisis, they're always on crisis. But what if something happens? Then they end up crushed because there's nothing that they can do. Precision management, these are the perfectionists, consistently deliver high quality standard, but they take time because to do high quality standard, it takes time. Highly capable and detailed, they tend to waste time due to outrageous efforts put on task because they do this task, they crash it out, try another one, crash it out, try another one. Time is not waiting for them. That is the issue of precision management. I know somebody's already find themselves into this already for that I've mentioned. Social management, socially active, would rather talk than do, often loses track of time. They have excellent communication skills. Oh gosh, I think I also fit in part of this social management. On this part, they have excellent communication skill. That one. Do I lose track? I'll ask my manager if I lose track of my time. Socially active, would rather talk than do. I do. Right. So some of you guys, you are a combination of the management styles there. Then, if you had a challenge, you are going to look back and take one aspect from each, if they are for you, and combine them together and see if you can become a good time management personnel. Common time wasters: procrastination, it's gray, no clear plan, failure, fear of failure. Failing is a learning curve, Don't worry about failing. The best people in life, they all failed. All people that you think these are the greatest leaders, they all failed at one stage. Albert Einstein, they were thinking, he once says, if you expect a fish to climb a tree, fish will die thinking it's stupid. Why? Because you take it out of its environment where it excels more. Inadequate resources. So if you are not given enough resources of the right resources, you are more likely to fail because you are not going to do the right things with the right time. Like, for example, you are expected to write exam and they promise to give you data. They give you data and you were panicking all along. Then you get data an hour before the exam. You were so stressing, going up and down trying to get data. That becomes a problem. Shifting responsibilities. All your responsibilities were for you. You shift them to next person, which becomes also part of the common time wasters. Don't forget the issue of procrastination, no clear goal, fear to failure, inadequate resources, and shifting responsibilities. Every time when you have time, when you are bored, go back to this workshop and listen to it again and try to focus on things that you think you were lacking in your life. And then based on that, I think we can go somewhere. Procrastination, delaying something to do later, usually something you don't like doing, I'll get it later. And after too many laters, the work piles up so high that any task seems impossible. You don't even know which one to start with. Reasons for procrastination, you are too relaxed. Either you are feeling stressed, fear of failing, perfectionist, and multitasking. So focus on one job at a time and complete it, like I've said, and then continue with the next one and next one and next one. Fail is not a bad word. It's only projected as bad word. Because fail, write it down. Fail, write it. F-A-I-L. First attempt in learning. All right. Fail means first attempt in learning. That's what fail means. Procrastination, set clear objectives, eliminate distraction, break big jobs into smaller pieces, use a system of punishment and rewards. That is social learning. Social learning theory. It speaks about punishment and rewards. Either you do self-rewards, internal motivation, or you punish yourself as well. Draft a contract with yourself. You do a social contract. If I don't do this, I won't get this. I won't take myself to McDonald's or so on. That is a contract that you sign to yourself. And stick to it so that you can be consistent, so that you can be able to complete your tasks. Results of planning, cope with academic. When you plan properly, it will help you to cope with academic anxiety, and it reduces exam anxiety, keeps you motivated in every dimension of your life, allows you to maintain balance between what is required versus what is available. Eliminate time wasters because you are aware of them. You are definitely aware of this is one of the time wasters. I don't need visitors at this time. Switch off my phone and notify them the status I'm busy. That is why we have got those things. Those are as a result of planning. When you plan in advance, you will not have much crisis. Less crisis or crisis that will be there, they can be managed. Tips for various time management styles. We spoke about this kind of management style, but these are the tips to help with their overly committed schedule, such as individual can benefit from: to-do list, supply list, committee list, and events list. Casual management can benefit from these: timelines, alert system, electronic reminders. Crisis management can benefit from this: desktop calendar and alert. Precision management can benefit from this: day planners keep track of time. Social management can benefit from this: portable alarm like watch or mobile alerts can help remind such people to keep their interactions short and get back to task at hand. So you see, there is always a solution to every problem. My principle is that every problem has a solution. You choose which one are you. We spoke about it, either crisis, either precision, either social. You always get yourself somewhere. Thank you very much for your time. I think announcement will be orientation events, the 11th of March 2022, which is tomorrow. We've got orientation. Study skills workshop, 17 March 2022. You will learn about how to study. Anxiety and stress management workshop. It will be on the 25th of March 2022. Please diarize those dates. Student mentor program. You need to sign up with your mentor to become mentored as students. We've got people that are training who will like to mentor you. They are doing different qualification. You will be linked with them. So every time when we've got a workshop, we give their names out so that you can choose which one can mentor you based on their course that they're doing. Therefore, your life will become easy. You won't go through what others or us has gone through. As for me, with the power vested in me in this workshop, I thank you very much for coming and for listening to my story and our story and UNISA's story. And I thank you very much, guys. Take your time and I appreciate you. I will leave it back to the program director, Koketo, will take over from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Makahani, for such an insightful presentation. I hope that our attendees have absorbed all that they need. They understand their time personalities and their management styles and can take what they have learned and apply it to their studies and their lives at large. I don't know, Mr. Makahani, if you would like to do a question and answer session, just to hear and answer any questions that they may have. If you have any questions, please post them in the in the chat box so that Mr. Makahani can answer the questions that you have. Anything that you need clarity on, we are here to clarify. Are there any questions? All right, I will take it that there are no questions. My colleagues will be posting an evaluation link in the chat box. I ask humbly that you please answer it and rate the workshop, what you think of it, the quality of it. Just give us an evaluation so we know where to improve for future events. Mr. Makahani has already given you the announcement. I hope. Oh, okay. I see in the chat box that Excellent has a question. Mr. Makahani, can you please assist Excellent with the question that they have? Excellent, please ask your question. You may ask it in the chat box or just turn on your mic and ask your question.
Yes, ma'am. I have only 17 March and 25 March orientation. I don't understand the other one, please.
Okay. Can I ask Bongiwe to please just display the announcement slide that has all the dates so that our fellow colleagues can note down the dates. Yes, and also the link for the student mentor program will be shared in the chat box. Just look out for it in the chat box. Okay, the announcement slide is being shared. Please jot down the dates, and we hope that you will join us. We would love to have you and share the vast knowledge that all of our presenters have with you. And without wasting any more time. Yes, Mr. Makahani.
There's another question again. What if you are struggling to identify which management you fall under? All right. Let's do this. We can assist you as counselors and psychologists to help you to identify your management style. The other thing that you can do, let me type something down that you must go and Google it. You are going to for there are a lot of quiz under authentic happiness. Ne? What is this guy? He's a positive psychologist. You will try to find yourself there. You can answer those quizzes. At the end of the day, they will be able to identify what kind of a person are you, personality, what type, and so on. So based on that, it can assist you to understand yourself, because majority of people, they're still looking for themselves, and the people die without even knowing themselves. So you first need to find yourself. That's a fact. Many people, even today, some dead without knowing who they are. So first thing first, you need to find yourself. You need to know who you are. Then you can be able to assist you with that. So if that doesn't work, please contact me. I think Koketo will give you my email address. Then we can have a team meeting. Then we can do that. Thank you. Back to you, Koketo.
Thank you, Mr. Makahani. I just want to open the floor. If there are any more questions, please raise your hand and ask if you have any more questions. Okay, I will take it that there are no more questions. Please don't forget to answer our evaluation link, and we have also posted the mentorship link in the chat box. Without wasting any more of your time, I am going to invite our last speaker, who is going to be doing the vote of thanks, Miss Mamashu Mabua, who is also a student counselor at the Joburg Center. Miss Mamashu, the floor is yours. Problem with her connectivity. In that case, I am going to ask that Ms. Khomotso be the one to do our vote of thanks for us. Ms. Khomotso, please take the stage.
Thank you, Koketo, and thank you for directing the program perfectly so. And thank you, students, for joining us. It was a lovely presentation, and we are honored to have had you during this time. And also, I would like to thank our manager, Dr. Pitwane, for opening the workshop. Also, I'd also like to thank the team working behind making sure that we provide effective and excellent work, so that you can be aware of such things. As well, please join us tomorrow, as you have seen the announcements, and next week, and then we'll also send you the links to join in, as well as the registrations. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Koketo, over to you.
Thank you so much for the vote of thanks. We thank you for joining us, for awarding us your time. We truly, truly appreciate that you took time out of your day to come and join us for this workshop, and we hope that it aided you and it gave you the tools that you need to succeed in your academics and in your personal life. With that said, we have come to the end of our program. We thank you so much, and by the power vested in me, I will now conclude and end the session. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day further. Bye, colleagues.
Thank you. Bye, Koketo.